Good evening, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Hope you had a wonderful evening so far. Yeah, this is the second time we've gone live today. I'm just doing videos now. I'm not on any particular schedule, but I just figured, why not? Let me go ahead and do this second video here. So it's gonna give people about a minute or so, and then we're gonna jump right in. Okay, good to see as people are coming in. This is not going to be a long one at all. This is going to be this one is really interesting. This is one is really interesting. So I think in light of everybody talking about the UFOs and the drones and all of that, I think for those of you who are really into that stuff, you might you might like this one. If you didn't catch the broadcast we did earlier, make sure you watch that one too. Okay, don't forget that one. We covered quite a bit of territory in that one, and there's going to be some similarities between that broadcast and what we're going to talk about in this broadcast. So I'm just going to jump right in, and whoever comes at this point, so be it. So everybody in the chat, I am Waffles. You making me hungry. We got Willie Rich. Speaking of which, have you guys noticed frozen waffles? They have actually been, a lot of them are not on the shelves. And the reason why is the main manufacturers that make them, well, they had an outbreak, some huge outbreak that has of some bacteria that they found in frozen waffles. And so they have snatched them all off of the, in freezers and in grocery stores. I can barely find them. There's like a couple that I can find, but the ones that we typically get are like the gluten-free ones, but I can't find them. And then I went online and I found out, they said, yeah, it was some big outbreak. So I don't know if you've noticed that. If those of you who do buy, frozen waffles, that was really something. And it's been like that. We're in December now. I haven't bought frozen waffles since, I want to say October almost. Man, it's been a minute. But anyway, someone asked. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to see if I could pull up Isaiah 40:31. I'm going to see if I could pull up that other video because, I wanted to hear more about that. Now, New Jersey, what was so funny was that one of the stories that I heard, or one of the sightings, that I heard about these drones that are showing up all over the place, is that it was one showed up it's a town called Delran, New Jersey, which is in South Jersey. When I tell you there's like, Delran is like, it's a nice town, but there's really nothing going on there like that important that something from outer space is going to go to Delran. Delran is not that interesting at all. Trust me. It is not interested at all. There's nothing going on like that in Delran. I'm trying to find this, make sure I could find this video here because it was an interview that someone did with someone who actually makes drones. And hopefully I can find it. And maybe I will a little bit later. I can't find it, but I'll look for it. Nope. I got it. Okay, good. Okay. All right. So tonight in this broadcast, like I said, this is not going to be a long one at all. We are going to someone said, I just ordered some egg waffles the other day and I received them. Should I eat them? Well, I mean, who did you order them from? I mean, if they didn't give any warning, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying it's like a lot of our food supply. It's made by these few conglomerates, and the ones that make waffles. When I tell you this is like so off the range, I almost wanted to make a separate video on this. I didn't realize that, there's only like a few companies that make these like frozen waffles that you find in the grocery store. And this is even the store brand. So Kroger, we have Fry's out here, Safeway, whatever. They get these main few companies to make them. And they said it was some huge outbreak or something like that. So they just pulled them all off the shelf. And they said, if you do have it, send it back. So I don't know. I would just, if you ordered them, I would probably write in or ask them, hey, listen, y'all got any issues going on? Or just, search on the internet and see if anybody else is mentioning anything or whatever. But I don't know. I just know I miss my waffles because they're quick. I hate usually I make pancakes, but sometimes, waffles, I only have to think about it. But anyway, let's see. Okay. So let's get into it. So there's this video that where I was out today doing something very dangerous. And that is watching YouTube videos while I'm driving, which I wouldn't advise anybody to do, but I do it, but I still shouldn't do it sometimes. I got something, I sit it up there, and sometimes I'm even crazy enough and I'm actually holding it in my hand, and that's either my daughter or my wife will take the phone in my hand and sit it to the side somewhere, and I am paying attention to the road. But there was this video that I came across. It was just showed up on my timeline, and this is Rizza Islam. And we're going to actually play this very short video. And he's talking about an incident that happened back in the 40s. I never heard of this incident. And so what we're going to do in real time, we're going to watch it. And he said, hey, Google it. Don't believe me, Google it. And we're going to do that as well. And I just thought all of this was quite interesting. So let me pull this up here and let's take a listen and watch and see. All right, so let's go ahead.
It's by the mothership. I always talk about her, but I never clearly heard the breakdown. Could you break it down for me?
Absolutely. The best people that break down that would be Elia Rashad Muhammad, number one. Brother Demetric Muhammad, number two, Brother Dr. Wesley Muhammad, number three, and of course the Honorable Minister Farrakhan himself. They have spoken on the wheel extensively. So people know it as UFOs.
So he's, for those of you who don't know, Nation of Islam, they have this long thing like the God, the black man, and the UFO. I think that was like a book or something that they came out with some years ago, but they are really heavily in the whole UFO thing, that the UFOs, are out there somewhere, and then, inside of them are all black people and all this stuff. So that's kind of Nation of Islam. They ride on that, but just pay close attention to everything he's saying. Okay.
America has recently admitted to just a year ago that yes, they exist. Fine. They was basically like, look, okay, we can't hide it no more. Yes, they exist. Yes, we've known about this for over 50 years, over 60 years. I need everyone to look at something called the Battle of LA that took place in Los Angeles over 50 years ago, where the military went onto the coast, roughly Playa del Rey, toward the end of the 105 freeway at that time, and they were shooting at a flying wheel-like object in the sky. They were shooting bullets. They was like, this is really happening.
Fire, this is a movie or this is real
No,
life?
this is real life. This is long before Independence Day, brother. If you people don't know what Independence Day was based off of, the Battle of LA. You Google that and you will see old newspaper clippings of what took place. And they were like, wait a minute, this actually happened. The news reported on it. It flew from that area all the way through past Compton and different parts, down past Signal Hill and Long Beach, and it disappeared off the coast of Long Beach. That happened. And this is something that has happened all over the planet. Multiple nations have revealed their documentation on what they refer to as UFOs. But the Honorable Mr. Farrakhan, as we're talking about the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he knows exactly what that is. It's not some alien craft. It was built by human beings, by the original people. You talking about, I mean, like really, because now it's like, put it this way, everything from the pyramids all the way down, they give it to the aliens. They want to take everything away from black folks having anything to do with anything that is technologically advanced. So right now, some people may look at me, but just go and research everything I just told you, and you will see that there is far more connecting those dots historically in the Bible, in the book of Ezekiel. I believe Ezekiel 3rd chapter 17th verse, where he talks about a wheel inside of a wheel coming in the clouds of fire or clouds in the sky. The Bible talks about the wheel. I mean, this is all over the world. In multiple religions, they talk about that. But the United States government never wanted to admit to it because they do not want to admit that there is a power that they can't control. That is something that they cannot deal with. They don't have anything to stop it. They don't have anything to combat it. They, like I said, in the Battle of LA, and many times after that, they have tried to literally shoot at these things. They have clocked them at upwards of 3,000 miles per hour when they were chasing them. They have footage of chasing them, and they have footage of them moving forward, backward, going up and down, maneuvering in ways that they have no aircraft that can catch it. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when he was arrested the first time.
I think I'll stop it there because he's just kind of reiterating, what he said there. You could watch the rest of it. He's just going on about that. So he said he encouraged people to look that up. It's called the Battle of LA. I never heard of it. So I said, let me look it up. So let's take a look at what Google is going to produce for us. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. So I did that. First thing that comes up is Wikipedia. So people are like, oh, you're going to use Wikipedia, man. You can't use that. You can't trust Wikipedia for that. Wikipedia gives links to primary sources. What you have to be careful of is what people write within Wikipedia sometimes. You definitely got to be careful of that. But if you want to make sure you follow those links to make sure that you get into the sources. Someone asked, what was the name of that video? It's right here. It's called Rizza Islam on UFOs. And the day the U.S. military was shooting at a wheel in the sky. It's on the channel I Never Knew TV. That's the name of the channel. All right, that's it right there. All right, so let's go and see what Google is going to tell us on this. Okay, so let's go. The Battle of Los Angeles, also known as the Great Los Angeles Air Raid, is the name given by contemporary sources to a rumored attack on the continental United States by Imperial Japan, and the subsequent anti-aircraft artillery barrage, which took place from late the 24th of February to the early the 25th of February 1942 over Los Angeles, California. The incident occurred less than 3 months after the U.S. entered World War II in response to the Imperial Japanese naval surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, and one day after the bombardment of Elwood near Santa Barbara on the 23rd of February. Initially, the target of the aerial barrage was thought to be an attacking force from Japan, but speaking at a press conference shortly afterwards, Secretary of the Navy Frank Knox called the purported attack a false alarm. Newspapers of the time published a number of reports and speculations of a cover-up to conceal an actual invasion by enemy airplanes. When documenting the incident in 1949, the United States Coast Artillery Association identified a meteorological balloon. A weather balloon. I don't see anything about a wheel, but I'm going to keep reading. And I have another page too that I'm going to go to as well. Sent aloft at 1 a.m. as having started all the shooting, and concluded that once the firing started, imagination created all kinds of targets in the sky and everyone joined in. In 1983, the U.S. Office of Air Force History attributed the event to a case of war nerves triggered by a lost weather balloon and exasperated by stray flares and shells burst from adjoining batteries. As an example of incompetence, the incident was diverse. Let's see, how you say that? Derisive? I don't know. Referred to as the Battle of Los Angeles, or the Great Los Angeles Air Raid. And it goes here. They're just talking more about, they're giving you more of the background of what was going on during that time. All right. And so let's see here. You know, they're naming, all this different stuff here. Let's see. Alarms raised, press response. Okay, let's get here. Within hours of the end of the air raid, Secretary of the Navy Frank Knox held a press conference saying the entire incident had been a false alarm due to anxiety and war nerves. Knox's comments were followed by statements from the Army the next day that reflected General George C. Marshall's supposition that the incident might have been caused by enemy agents using commercial airplanes in a psychological warfare campaign to generate mass panic. Some contemporary press outlets suspected a cover-up of the truth. An editorial in the Los Angeles Independent wrote, "There is a mysterious reticence about the whole affair, and it appears that some form of censorship is trying to halt discussion on the matter. Speculation was rampant as to invading airplanes and their bases. Theories included a secret base in northern Mexico, as well as Japanese submarines stationed offshore with the capability of carrying planes. Others speculated that the incident was either staged or exaggerated to give coastal defense industries an excuse to move further inland." And then it goes on, it says Representative Leland M. Ford of Santa Monica called for an congressional investigation, saying none of the explanations so far offered removed the episode from the category of complete mystification. This was either a practice raid or a raid to throw a scare into 2 million people, or a mistaken identity raid, or a raid to lay a political foundation to take away Southern California's war industries. And then it goes on, after the war ended in 1945, the Japanese government declared that they had flown no airplanes over Los Angeles during the war. In 1983, the U.S. Office of Air Force History concluded that an analysis of the evidence points to meteorological balloons as the cause of the initial alarm. We're looking it up. At 0306, a balloon carrying a red flare was seen over Santa Monica, and 4 batteries of anti-aircraft artillery opened fire, whereupon the air over Los Angeles erupted like a volcano. From this point on, reports were hopelessly at variance. Probably much of the confusion came from the fact that the anti-aircraft shell bursts caught by the searchlights were themselves mistaken for enemy planes. In any case, the next 3 hours produced some of the most imaginative reporting of the war. Swarms of planes, or sometimes balloons, of all possible sizes, numbering from 1 to several hundred, traveling at altitudes which range from a few thousand feet to more than 20,000, and flying at speeds which were said to have varied from very slow to over 200 miles per hour, were observed to parade across the sky. Guess what they were talking about? They were talking about the artillery that was flying across the sky. This was not spaceships. We Googled it. These mysterious forces dropped no bombs, and despite the fact that 1,400 rounds of anti-aircraft ammunition was directed against them, suffered no losses. There were no reports to be sure that 4 enemy planes had been shot down, and 1 was supposed to have landed in flames in the Hollywood intersection. And then they go on and say the dawn, which ended the shooting, and the fantasy also proved that the only damage which resulted to the city was such as had been caused by the excitement. There was at least one death from heart failure, by traffic accidents in the blacked out streets, or by shell fragments from the artillery barrage. Attempts to arrive at the explanation of the incident quickly became as involved as mysterious as the battle itself. The Navy immediately insisted that there was no evidence to the presence of enemy planes, and Secretary of the Navy Frank Knox announced at a press conference on the 25th of February that the raid was just a false alarm. And let's see. According to historian Roger Lockton, the incident became diversely termed the Battle of Los Angeles, or the Great Los Angeles Air Raid, and is often cited as an example of the buffoonery that suffused, I hope I'm saying that right, the war effort in the state. So this is what he's saying as a historian. Suffused the war effort. That's what he's saying. Suffused the war effort in the state. So what he's saying is that this was more or less something that was pulled by the government. But there's no mention here of some biblical wheel flying in the air. I don't see anything here. A photo published in the Los Angeles Times on February the 26th, 1942, has been featured in the UFO conspiracy theories as evidence of an extraterrestrial visitation. They assert that the photo clearly shows searchlights focused on an alleged alien spaceship. However, the photo was heavily modified by photo retouching prior to the publication, a routine practice in graphic arts of the time intended to improve contrast in black and white photos. And they give the links here. I actually checked them out myself. You can look them up on your own. Times writer Larry Harnish noted that the retouched photos, along with fake newspaper headlines, were presented as true historical materials in trailers for the 2011 film Battle of Los Angeles. Harnish commented, if the publicity campaign wanted to establish UFO research as nothing but lies and fakery, it couldn't have done a better job. Well, let's go to, this is another article here. Let me check and see what people are saying here. Okay. All right, let's go on. So like I said, he told us to Google it, and that's what we're doing. TV skeptic, Fact or Fate, Paranormal Files looks at the real battle for LA. This is written back in 2011. I'm not going to read the whole article. I just want to get to a certain part here. Let me see. Let's see. No one knows. Okay. Okay, here we go. Excuse me. Their investigation of the image begins with a close examination of what looks like an object illuminated by searchlights in the photo. Could it be a weather balloon, a barrage balloon, a visual artifact created by the convergence of the searchlights, or is it some kind of flying saucer? As reported by Los Angeles Times bloggers, and they name their names, the version of the photo that ran in the paper in 1942 had been retouched in ways that would not be acceptable today. The skyline was darkened with ink, paint, similar to correction fluid, was used to brighten the searchlight beams and turn the lens flare dots into artifact bursts. The part of the image identified by UFO experts as an alien spacecraft was shaped by drops of paint on the print. With that in mind, the show's investigation of the photo becomes rather amusing, and it goes on. They even mention it says, in an interview, Simon Elliott of the Department of Special Collections at UCLA's Charles E. Young Research Library said any researcher could have requested the negative at any time. So it's very easily debunked for the most part. Okay. So I saw this, and then I said, the next thing I said is, okay, Well, let me see. Maybe someone picked up on this in the comment section of this video that we just watched. And so I was just very curious to see what people had to say on this. And it was quite interesting here. So I'm just going to scroll through this very quickly here. And let's see. Familiar with the Battle of LA? He is speaking about a historical event. Here's someone saying, my mother died and came back and said she went to live on a spaceship, not kind that we think of, but a world inside of a spaceship, that I was going there. And two, then she officially passed 30 days later. She said she just came back to let me know about. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see. It's called Ezekiel's Wheel and Angels. Let's see. Just looked it up. It's true. Let's see. Someone else said, excellent video. I personally viewed two short sightings, one in Palm Springs, California, the other high in the sky and somewhere in New Jersey. Someone else talking about Jesus is coming in the clouds. And then it was some other ones that people were saying that I looked. It was one comment that someone left, and they were talking about how they, and it, you got more people adding scriptures and all praise to the Most High. You're teaching, boy. So forth and so on. And so here's the thing. Here's the thing. Why am I doing all this? It was one comment in particular that stuck out to me, and they said, I looked it up. And yeah, he's right. He's true. It's true what he's saying. I even saw the old newspaper clippings. Well, we just looked at the old newspaper clippings, and what they're saying is it was all faked. Here's it right here. I'll show it to you. They say fake stuff like this literally all the time, all the time. So this is the kind of stuff that I talk about here on this platform, is why is it so important? Oh, I clicked on it and y'all didn't see it. Okay, let me bring it up here. Sorry about that. Here it is. Let me make it bigger. So that's it right there. You can look it up. All right. That's it right there. So you can see for yourself, but you can look it up on your own. But I wanted to jump on here real quick because, again, this kind of underscores, some of the, the things that we've been saying on this platform, why it's so important to validate, verify claims that people make, regardless of what it is. Earlier today, we were talking about religion. Now we're talking about spaceships. And you got people out here like Rizza and others that are making these claims. But all it literally takes is a few minutes to look these things up. And you'll see that it's not true. And then they've proven it to be false. This wasn't from some black planet somewhere. It's from Japan. Okay. It was from Japan. So unless there was some black Japanese on there, maybe that's what it was. They're claiming that it was, some people saying it's from Japan. Based on the kind of stuff that the United States was doing at that time. Another thing they used to do is that they used to put inflatable anti-aircraft guns in communities. The army, the military, they would put inflatable anti-aircraft guns. They weren't real. They were just all like an inflatable. And you could look this up. And they were putting it in communities. It was a way of scaring the population. And oh my goodness, they're attacking us at any moment. Your community could be attacked, and it could be your community, that kind of stuff. And so the government they do this stuff all the time to scare people into their agendas. They do this all the time. So what's the takeaway as far as what the claim is, as far as Rizza is? Now, I know I got some Rizza fanboys and fangirls in the audience. This is no attack on him. I don't know him, okay? I don't know him like that. But just like we do here with the stuff that I say. Like if I say something and I make a claim, I'm like, okay, let me pull up the site so you can see for yourself and you can look it up yourself. Now, here's the link. We'll give it to you. And so we're going to do the same thing with everybody else. This was very innocent. We looked up what he said about the battle for LA. This was not in any way, shape, or form, from what we're seeing, had nothing to do with some wheel. Nobody mentioned anything about a wheel or anything like that. It was a balloon. It was a balloon. That's what it was. They said it was a balloon with a flare on it. And then he went to piece it together with the Bible and everything else. Now that the truth is out about that, will people who have stood on that, are they going to go back and correct that? You know what I'm saying? Or are we just going to, what are we going to do? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, what are you going to do with that? Or do we just let that continue to ride on? Especially during this time as I'm transitioning now to the drone situation that we're hearing about in New Jersey area and in other places from what I'm hearing. You know, people are saying that these drones are all over the place. Oh my God, the drones, they're coming. It's the aliens. They're sending drones. I first heard that. I was like, it's interesting that they're already telling you what they are. They're already telling you that these are drones. They didn't come out and say they were spaceships. They said these are drones. And, you know, I remember the first story that I heard, they were saying that it was an Iranian ship off the coast of America sending these drones into New Jersey. They sending drones. Iranian ship done somehow made it all the way over here and decided to send drones. They ain't doing nothing. They just flying around at night. I said, how is it possible that the United States military is going to allow an Iranian ship to get this close? I said, no, that ain't Iran. So stop it, United States. We ain't buying that. And then, you know, people were, you know, all over the place and taking pictures and saying they're seeing this and that or whatever. And so I came across this video here because, you know, I'm scrolling. I'm not really taken about, be honest with you, me personally, I'm not really taken by the story at all.
Building with each new drone sighting across the north.
Stop it. Okay. I'm really not taken by it at all. I'm really not, because what this does tell me is that our government is up to something, meaning that it's always a distraction with the government. Always a distraction. And so I want to play this video here. This is someone who actually makes drones. He makes drones for the military. And he was interviewed by ABC News. And what he had to say was quite interesting. Someone said they out of here in New Jersey. Hey, I ain't in there no more. My mom's out there though. I gotta respond back to her because she was like, "What do you think about these drones?" And all? I didn't even want to say anything to her about no drones because I was like, I don't need her to be worrying about anything like this. Oh, this thing here, what is going on here? Hold on. I'm getting all this. Okay, that ain't working. Okay, let me see if I can make this big. Okay, let's take a look at this video here. Okay, let's watch.
Look at it.
Frustration building with each new drone sighting across the Northeast.
And seems like there's multiple drones all over this airport tonight, man.
The FAA forced to slow traffic at Stewart International Airport Friday night north of New York City because of multiple reports of drone sightings in the area. Mayor Eric Adams saying his team is taking the reports of drones in the region seriously.
We're going to have an immediate response. We're getting ready to check. We're getting ready to look into some new innovative ways of, if need be, to take down drones with the proper permission from the FAA.
And New York's Governor Kathy Hochul saying this has gone too far, demanding that the Biden administration step in by directing additional federal law enforcement to New York and the surrounding area. In Ocean County, New Jersey, the sheriff's department launching its own industrial drone after numerous reports of sightings in the area. One deputy reporting roughly 50 drones coming in over the ocean.
The facts are that they are very big objects in the sky. The fact is that's just concerning to us, is nobody has seen them land or take off.
Reports of drones flying near a naval weapons station in New Jersey as well.
And I did talk to the commander there. His men are seeing it right there at the base. Are you kidding me? A munitions depot of that caliber, and these drones are hovering in close proximity to it.
So on a call with reporters,
I'm sorry, the first thing that came to my mind was Eddie Munster. His face. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean, but he white. He must have came off the drone. Anyway, I'm sorry. It was shocking. Anyway.
From a wide range of agencies, including the FBI, Department of Homeland Security, the FAA. A Joint Chiefs of Staff official confirmed those drone sightings at the naval station, but added that they do not believe that they are from a foreign actor or have malicious intent. The question people still have is, how do you know that? So for more on this, let's bring in Jeffrey Thompson. He is the CEO of Red Cat Holdings. The company supplies sophisticated drone technology to the U.S. military. Jeffrey, what a perfect person to have talk about this today. I'm sure your phone is blowing up and you're getting questions all about this. Right off the bat, I'll just ask you, because you're in this world, what do you think is going on?
Well, I'll say it's probably not our adversaries. I don't know, any adversary that would actually use proper FAA lighting to display where they are. It would be way too easy to shoot them down. They're slow moving, they're big. So I definitely take adversary off the table right away.
That's interesting. I don't believe I've heard that before, so thanks for that. When you look at these videos, and I'm sure you've seen what a lot of people have seen online, can you identify what type of drones these are and what they might be capable of? Because one of the things that people were initially concerned about is that they were, not the drone that you buy at Best Buy or something. It's the size of cars, some of these.
Yeah, they do look much larger than a consumer drone. Red Cat has two products. We've been accused all week of possibly being the culprit. We have the only commercial drone swarm available for 80 drones that can be launched by a single operator. We also have a Flight Wave 130, which is a bigger drone that has very long flight time. And these drones that you're seeing in these videos have very long flight time. I can tell you right now, it is not us. Please stop calling me. So there's a lot of, that they're big, the fact that they're large, that's the only thing that seems really odd to me, as I'm actually trying to figure this out. But they should have remote ID if they're already flying with proper lighting. All drones are required by law to have a remote ID. And if you want to be a DIY investigator, you could always get a scanner product that's free on, free apps, and you could see if they're broadcasting down to you if you're near those drones, and you could become the investigator. I'm not close enough to where it's all happening, but it's pretty simple to see if they're broadcasting a remote ID that's required by law.
But you are close enough to the whole world that this is happening in, and what I'm hearing from you is what we are hearing from the federal government, that you're not worried that it's a foreign actor because they wouldn't come in using FAA lighting, but still we don't know what it is. It could just be regular folks operating.
Maybe they're trying to test them and try to stay under the radar by actually doing it properly according to the law. But when we do all of our mission tests, we do them at nighttime. Almost all missions by the U.S. military at nighttime, and we try to make it so you can't find us, can't see us, can't detect us. So there's a lot of controversy on why they would an adversary would actually be doing it the way they're doing it if they're trying to do the training to do some drills.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll shed some light on it.
There you go. Hey, bro, you need some vitamin D or something, man. That's really concerning to me. But anyway, the guy on the left. But yeah, so here's my little drone here. Like he said, all drones, they require FAA lighting, regardless if it's, a consumer drone like you have here, or one of those much larger drones that people are saying that they're seeing in the sky, or like drones that people use like for commercial use, that kind of thing. But yeah, I think it's like green and red or something like that. I don't know. It's like red goes on one side, and when you're flying a drone, anytime, like for those of you who have drones, when you're flying, it's like you see that flash, those flashing lights under there. That's required by the government that they must have that lighting on there. It's just a general requirement. This is a Mavic Mini, so it's, like I said, it's very small. It's right under the weight that's required for me to have to take the FAA license, rather FAA test, which I have taken. If you get something any larger than that, I'm saying all this to say, it's when I tell you they have this, the airspace in this country is very much on lockdown. So there's nothing that's going to be flying in the air here in the United States and nobody knows anything about it. Even if it was a space alien or something like that. Look, let alone if it's some black folk. Look, if it was some black folks flying some spaceships up there, they would have been shot that thing down. They ain't gonna let that one stay up there too long. They'll say, "Oh no, we ain't doing that. No, you ain't coming here." But for real, but yeah, that's what they're saying. As far as one of the things I said I believe it was a broadcast I did a few weeks ago. I said, listen, with as much upheaval that we witnessed as far as Trump getting reelected, trust and know we're going to see some very interesting things between now and the time that he swears in. You're going to see a lot of stuff, some weird stuff happening. And I did say that. And so I think this is just one of them. One of the stories I heard, they said that these are drones being launched by the military because they're searching for, some nukes or something like that. So the way the media works, the way the government works, they leak all kinds of these possibilities out here. And it causes people to stay in this unsettling, the state of confusion and all of that, right? And this is why, like, what we really try to emphasize here is really, number one, limit the amount of social media that you're taking in. When you hear stories like this, investigate, like we did earlier with Rizza Islam and what he claimed. It just took a few minutes. We looked it up and we was able to verify that what he was claiming was not true. There's a ton of people right now on social media that have all kind of claims. And of course, you got the religious folks coming in the house, trying to tie it into some biblical passage and all of this stuff, and it's just a lot of stuff out there. When we say you got to protect your peace, we really mean that. And it's little things like this that can really cause people to not think rationally. You understand what I'm saying? Do I personally believe that there's some aliens out there? I really don't know. And in fact, I really don't care. And so one of the comments that someone left under that video, they said, where were those space aliens, black space aliens during the transatlantic slave trade? See, that's all I need to know. That's where my mind is. That's where my mind is. I mean, you can't hype me up about, yeah, man, because shoot, there's some black folks up on there. See, they don't want us to get connected to them black folks who's flying those spaceships and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, where them niggas, where were they back during the transatlantic slave trade? Well, they got lost? I mean, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? So, just investigate. Don't immediately take people's word for it. Don't immediately take my word for it. I stand in front of that line telling you that. You know what I mean? Look these things up. As far as the drone thing is concerned, all I'm simply saying is continue to live your life like you've been living, right? But also be aware of that this kind of stuff that's happening, it's all a distraction. And the question that remains is, a distraction from what? That's the question. One of the things I picked up in that news story, they said that because of these drones removing all of these, law enforcement in this region. Is that the real reason? Well, we don't know. You understand what I'm saying? But just know that we're going to, between now and the time that Trump gets into office, we're going to be seeing some really interesting things popping off. And always, always, always ask questions, investigate, don't jump the gun, and run it by people that you know and you trust, and just start from there. But don't just jump on these things, because like I said, combined with the religious folks who thrive on this stuff, because their belief system oftentimes rests on things like this, claims that can't be verified. You got to really make sure you know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. This wasn't going to be a long broadcast at all, but I just wanted to jump on here real quick because I thought it was an interesting story. And I just want to look into it a little bit more with you and show you how easy it is to investigate these things on your own. So that's it. We've done 2 broadcasts today, y'all. So we've been quite busy. All right. So make sure you go watch that video, the broadcast that we did earlier. Some great stuff in there. Things that we were going through. Again, the importance of using your brain. Okay. And then this one here too, we just did that. So probably the next 2 days, if anything, I'll probably be active on our community page. So I'll be active on the community page here for sure. I'll be active on Samba Tree YouTube page. Make sure you check that out. And then the long form history page, I'll definitely be active on there, posting some more things on there as well. There's another debate I want to post on there. I thought it was really interesting. I want y'all to check that out as well. So if you just know this page right here, Samba Journeys, you can just, keep your eyes on the community page, and I'll post the links to everything that we're going to be doing over the next couple of days. Okay. All right. That's it. That's all I have for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care.